Hello everyone! This video is the first in a series that I'm calling Truth, the History of Christianity. In this series, we'll delve primarily into the theological splits in the Christian faith from the beginning until modern day. You can't really have a conversation about Christianity without talking about Jesus. While in the grand scheme of things, the man is relatively unimportant, this first episode is about Jesus. Christianity was begun by Jesus, right? Well, not quite. Assuming that Jesus was actually a real person, he was born and died a Jew. The Christian religion was began by someone else based on his teachings. But who was Jesus, and did he really exist? According to the Bible and the Quran, Jesus was the son of a carpenter. Outside of those two sources, what evidence do we have of his existence? The answer? 2 quotes from one historian, maybe. But I'll get into that in just a moment. If Jesus existed, when did he live? Well, according to Matthew 2:1, Jesus was born during the time of Herod, who died in 4 BCE. But according to Luke 2:2, he was born during the census of Quirinius, which occurred between 6 and 7 CE. According to Luke 3, Jesus was about 30 during the 15th year of the rule of Tiberius Caesar, which was 28 or 29 CE. If Jesus was about 30, and it's claimed that he was 32 by most modern biblical scholars, this means that he was born in 4 CE. This seems to add up if you take into account Matthew, but Luke 3 is in direct conflict with Luke 2. And according to most, Jesus died between the ages of 33 and 36. How do we know all this? Well, remember that one historian that I mentioned earlier? His name was Josephus. Josephus is the only historian that was semi-contemporary to Jesus that makes any mention of him. And Josephus wasn't born until Jesus would have been dead 6 years. On the other hand, if Jesus wasn't born until 6 CE, then Josephus was 4 when Jesus died. Many people believe that Josephus mentions Jesus in his tome of books entitled Antiquities of the Jews, which was written in 93 CE. So what did he say? Well, in Book 18, Chapter 3, Josephus is attributed to saying, "Now there was about this time Jesus, a wise man, if it be lawful to call him a man. For he was a doer of wonderful works, a teacher of such men as received the truth with pleasure." Some historians argue that this was added later by Christians because of the Christian phraseology and the fact that no 1st or 2nd century Christian writer ever quoted this passage. But unfortunately, we don't have any copy of Antiquity of the Jews that's any older than 900 CE. So unless we find an older copy, we'll never know. But wait! Didn't I say he made 2 mentions of Jesus? Well, yeah, I did, but it's less interesting. Here it is. In Book 20, Chapter 9, Josephus says, "So he assembled the Sanhedrim of judges, and brought before them the brother of Jesus, who was called Christ, whose name was James, and the others." It isn't a mention of Jesus, but of his brother. The implication is, if Jesus didn't live, Josephus wouldn't have mentioned it. But the other side says that the entire passage reads perfectly well without this portion. Wait! There was a 3rd mention by Josephus. No, there wasn't. The other quote-unquote mention that people attribute to Josephus is in Book 18, Chapter 5. It never mentions Jesus, but describes the death of John the Baptist. But Tacitus mentioned Jesus too. No, he didn't. Who was Tacitus, you might ask? Tacitus was a Roman senator and historian who was born in 56 CE. In 116 CE, while writing about the Great Fire of Rome of 64 CE, in the book Annals, he wrote, "The most exquisite torture on a class hated for their abominations, called Christians by the populace, Christus, from whom the name had its origins, suffered the extreme penalties during the reign of Tiberius." This isn't an account of Jesus, but an account of Christians. It's an acknowledgement that Christians existed, something not in dispute, but not an affirmation of Jesus. At the end of the day, we don't know whether or not Jesus existed. But it really doesn't matter, because the Christian religion does. Most scholars agree that Abraham, Moses, and Noah never existed, but the religious of the Abrahamic faiths still cite them. So I don't see how it really matters. In the next episode in this series, we will actually delve into the early religion of Christianity, before the Catholic Church existed. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and if you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Either way, you should check out my video on the one true Word of God. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, then what are you waiting for? You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Minds. You can catch me live streaming Monday on YouTube and Thursday on Facebook, both at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.